This is why I almost died. As I had promised before, I'm going to be explaining about the biopsy report. And this actually took a turn in my life because it was one of the biggest mistakes that we ever did in the cancer journey. Since this was a rapidly growing aggressive sarcoma that we had interfered with, so it made the cancer actually grow more, more bigger within a span of 2 to 3 days, and it had swollen up the whole mouth from this side to this other side, such that a spoon itself couldn't enter the mouth, and I couldn't even open the mouth itself. I couldn't drink, I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't even speak, as a matter of fact. And it was so painful because imagine having, like, let's say a balloon being popped up in your mouth and you can't remove it, you know. You feel as if you're being choked. So painful, very, very painful. I remember this is a, it's a wound, it's a wound. And as a matter of fact, that wound was actually rotting. I don't know why the cancer could not heal itself because it was rotting and it was removing worms. It was actually smelling bad. It was so disgusting. We tried to gargle with salt water, didn't work. We tried using mouthwash, didn't work. It was so rotting, the false smoke that was coming out of the mouth. It was so bad, so bad. With maggots there, so bad. Yeah, you can see it right here down. It was so bad. Very painful. After 2 days, we received the biopsy results, and the surgeon that did the surgery explained that it was a fast growing, rapidly aggressive sarcoma. And so, the moment that we interfered with it, it is what led to the aftermath, which was quite dangerous because it swelled up the whole mouth like 10 times the way it was, and it made me, it locked up the jaw such that I couldn't open my mouth, and this led to a lot of serious consequences whereby I couldn't even swallow water, as I had explained before in my video. I couldn't eat, I couldn't do anything, I was bedridden at that moment, and this is when I dropped my kgs from 50 to 30 within a span of 2 weeks. So we went to the doctor immediately after the report, and he now recommended us to go to an oncologist because he said that yes, he can operate and remove the whole tumor, but he needs to have clear margins on where to operate. So the purpose of going to the oncologist was to get chemotherapy and radiotherapy to shrink it and so that it can have good good light margins whereby they could have cut the whole tumor out. And so this is when we started our journey, and we went to um, cancer center where we met this oncologist. And I remember how we cried there because this is when I received the news. This was after being told to take a CT scan of the face, the chest, and the abdomen to see if it had spread, since it was an aggressive stage 4 cancer. So after the CT scan, it showed that it was good because the cancer had only localized on this area over here. It had not metastasized to the chest, the abdomen, or any other part of the body. That was the good news. Unfortunately, the bad news that we received that day was that I was to delay my studies for almost like 2 years. I remember how we all cried in that office. Everyone, I remember I was with my uncle, my mom, my sister. We all cried there. Even the doctor himself maybe shed some tears. Can't remember quite well because I was so devastated at the moment. And that is when we started our treatment. And the worst thing about chemo and radio, it's what it actually did to me. You can see there in that video. This is what it did to me. Very, very, very bad. Yeah. The most difficult part about having cancer is being explained that the treatment might actually not work. Imagine being told that yes, we're going to start you on treatment and it's going to be super, super expensive, but you're not assured of healing because 90% okay, let me reduce it to 80% of cancer patients, they don't actually survive at chemotherapy or radiotherapy. And so it was so devastating. I was at the verge of dying. But the good thing is that my mom was a nurse. Actually, I usually say that if it wasn't for her, I would have already been dead. Because can you explain to a cancer patient how he's not eating, he's not feeding, he's not drinking anything, yet he's still surviving? How is that even possible? It was through my mom. Because she used to go and buy these IV fluids. You see these dextrose and the normal saline solutions. So she comes, well at home, she injects me like 3 packets of dextrose or that normal saline per night so that I could stay at least hydrated. She used to monitor my urine to see the color of the urine itself just to make sure that I am okay. And with a little that I could swallow, maybe some yogurt or soup, yeah, though it actually helped, but it was insufficient. And that is what made me drop a lot of kilograms before the actual treatment itself. And now, when the treatment came, it became all worse. Everything worsened because when I could span on my right, I see the other cancer patients out there. They were weak, they were gone, other elderly. And remember, I was the only young one there. So imagine staring at others. You see other 30 years, 40 years, 60 years of age cancer patients out there. They are old. And you're like, well, that social stratification whereby you see as if you don't belong there. So it kind of like gave me a bad motivation to start the treatment itself. And it was so bad. It was so bad. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Tomorrow I'm going to be explaining how the chemo and the radiotherapy started and how it burned me completely to a point where I used to smell like nyama choma. Thank you. May God bless you.